Here it is.
Here it is,
guys. Here's my pick at 42 to the Knicks. Now, mind you, Kai Sotto is starting to open up a lot more eyes around the league, and draft prognosticators and everybody who's looking at him. He might not make it to 42. To be honest, he's not. I don't think he's good enough, for 11. But 42 for the Knicks, it might be tough. It might be a stretch. So you got to watch how this draft plays out. And I think the Knicks are going to do their due diligence. They're going to watch and see who falls where. And if they get to a point where a lot of guys jump off their draft board, they may even try to move that 42nd pick to move up to get a guy like Kai Sotto. If they really like him, he did work out for them. I haven't heard anything about how the draft worked, how his workout worked for the Knicks. But I will say I don't think it was bad because we didn't hear anything negative about it. I know he's scheduled to work out for tons of teams, half of the teams in the league pretty much. I know he's also, one of those teams being the Chicago Bulls. But I think what you will find is if you look at his draft combine, he worked out pretty well. But if you look at his actual game tape and look at how he played in the FBL, you see he did some really nice things. I think someone pointed to he scored 21 points in 15 minutes against other high-level competition in the FBL. I haven't seen everything, but for what I did see, and I like what I see from him.
Yeah.
And once again, guys, I was up to like 3 a.m. last night putting this stuff together. He is not from Arizona, okay? Don't kill me. He's not from Arizona. Sorry, I apologize. But so the height-wise, he's 7'2", 7'3". I've seen some places have him 7'2", some places have him as 7'3". He's roughly around 232 pounds. His wingspan is about 7'5". I don't know what his vert is because I was getting some weird information about that. But I will say he can jump pretty well. And then for his height, he's got no problem dunking on people if he needs to. Yeah. So let me get this screen out of here because it disgusts me seeing his college being Arizona. Yeah. All right. So as you can see, this was kind of wordy. I went off the board on this. His strengths. He's a decent scorer off the dribble. He's good low post scorer. He's a good rebounder. I saw his rebounding prowess. He's a really sneaky shot blocker. Now this was interesting because as I was looking at tape of him, I actually was kind of talking to Feats at the same time, and we were looking at tape of him and looking at tape of Chet Holmgren when it came to shot blocking. And while Chet is a really good shot blocker, Kai Sotto is not bad at shot blocking in his own right. He has really good hands.
That's true on the weak side.
Yeah, right. And he's an adequate defender. He gets to his spots and he can affect change. I'm trying to think of if there's anybody on the Knicks that you could kind of compare him to as far as someone who is sneaky with the blocks. You wouldn't think he was as good of a defender. David Lee, maybe. Now, he's taller. He's a true center. David Lee was smaller than him. But David Lee was a little crafty on defense, and he would block shots and stuff because he had good athleticism. So I think Kai Sotto, to me, if I had a comp for him, it would be more like a taller Tony Kukoc. I just maybe because he's lefty, but I like the way his form is on his stroke. Weaknesses, he needs to add strength, which I think will come naturally as he gets older. In the NBA with that big frame, 7'2", 7'3", you want to be able to hold your ground on the box and not get pushed out of your spots. When you get into the NBA, there's going to be bigger, wider players that are going to try to push him off his square. And so getting a little weight and being a little stronger in the post and the paint area will always be a good thing. Can be lack of focus on defense. Sometimes his defensive focus is lacking because he is not as dominant as he could be. And this is something that we've seen happen with other 7-footers. The Knicks had a guy named Kristaps Porzingis, who in his first couple seasons was a defensive monster. But as he's gotten a little older, he's dealt with injuries, but as he's come back into the league and gotten a little older, he's not as aggressive on the defensive end as he used to be. And in some cases, you see guys scoring over Porzingis that you would think, why is that happening? And that's the case with Kai Sotto, being that he's so tall, 7'2", 7'3", you would expect him to be a little bit more of a rim protector or a shot deterrent for some of these guys smaller than him. Needs to improve passing. He is the type of guy that, being that he's lefty, you know, that's always a nice skill set to have. It's like a trait, being lefty in the league. And if he could work on just his court vision, making passes when he gets around the rim, he, you know, at his size, he would probably get double teamed. There'll be different things that you know, different defensive schemes for him. So if he can learn to be a better passer, better you know, at getting to the open guy, splitting that double team or passing out of the double team before it happens, anticipating, that'll be big for him and his improvement, because I think that there's certain things that he can improve upon that can make him a really good NBA player with time. He's reluctant to take outside shots. Even though he has a good shooting form and he's not horrible when it comes to shooting, he doesn't seem to be as aggressive from the outside as you would think he could be with someone who has that type of form. I mean, I've seen guys who have worse forms that jack up shots and may not even hit at the same level of consistency that he does. So I guess it's more of him and his own mindset, you know, being a little bit more aggressive, working on things, because in today's NBA, you understand that bigs are asked if you have the ability to stretch the floor, and you want to show that aggression level, because that's what's going to show the defense that, hey, I got to play up on this guy, which is going to open up more lanes to the basket for his teammates. So that's what it is. It's not necessarily a big knock on him. It's just more of, he has to be a little bit more aggressive in that stance, because in today's NBA, that's what they're looking for some of these bigs who have the ability. What do you think about Kai Sotto, D?
Okay, so, you know, that Australian league has been producing some players the last couple of years, haven't they? And Sotto got this buzz out of nowhere, and there's some that may even have him late first round. And because they like the measurables, they like the mobility. I saw some guys saying he was slow. I actually think he's better mobile than give it credit for. I have to watch more film on him, because I also have to keep it account too. That's why, like with a Kamagati who's been playing with grown men at a very good league, where that Australian league is not, I don't think, as strong. So although they have been developing some NBA talent out of there, I still have to cross my T's and dot my I's to make sure that he could be a consideration. But for what I have seen, he seems very versatile for that height. And like I said, his mobility was a little bit better than I expected. And he showed some perimeter upside as well. And he also read the floor pretty well out of the roll. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. He seemed to have some pit bull in him. So I was very interested to see more film and more games and give him more of a look, so I can do him justice and give him more of a proper assessment. But what I've seen is intriguing and is definitely something to look more into.
Yeah, and another player comp that I saw, and most people may not know. If you're younger, you may not be too aware. If you remember back in the Indiana Pacers heyday, Rick Smits. There's some people that compared Kai Sotto to Rick Smits because they have similar makeups in their game, size-wise, and the ability to do things. And if you guys remember, Rick Smits was a very good NBA player. I mean, at some points, he was a nightmare to deal with.
The dunking Dutchman.
The dunking Dutchman, right. Rick Smits was a problem, and him and Patrick Ewing used to go back and forth all the time.
Yep.
It's hard to find video of it, guys, but if you guys do your research, there's actually a NBA fight that happened between Rick Smits and Patrick Ewing, where Patrick gave him a two-piece. So it was interesting. So
I missed the 90s.
Yeah, if you can find that, that's a pretty interesting scene to watch. But yeah, so Kai Sotto, they have to. I saw someone compare him to Rick Smits' game, and Rick Smits, like I said, was a beast. And if Kai Sotto can get in the league, continue to work on certain things, gain that confidence, because it would be a new setting for him.
Yeah.
He could do some really special things.